Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sister. The message here reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi. How are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So it was in the year 2020. That was when one of my cousin sister, she got an opportunity to go to the United Kingdom because she was like, dear sister, you know, us staying here in South Africa, our permits, they are not getting renewed. So we need to find another plan. Maybe if we can go to Europe. So each and every time when she was telling me to go with her because she was attending this other college and she was busy doing a lot of courses. So when she said that she was doing a course which was a nurse aid course, I said, no, I'll never do such a thing with the job that I am having right now, because I was working at this other restaurant, but I was now the manager. So the money that I was getting paid, it was like a lot of money. So I was like, there is no way that from being a manager, then I will go and I'll start to work at an old people's home where I'll be busy cleaning after those old people when they would have pooped. No ways, I'll never do such a thing. I have a car, I have a house here in South Africa, and my life is great. Why would I want to do such a thing? It then happened that I then started to date this other guy. This guy, he came and he messed up my life. I don't even want to lie, because this guy, he said that he wanted to start his own restaurant. So there were a lot of deals that I was doing with this guy, but this guy, he was just taking advantage of me. After this guy had taken advantage of me, he then ran back to Durban, where he comes from, and he also wanted me to assist him to rob my boss, because I knew where my boss was keeping his money, but I refused. I said that I do not want to go to prison. So because of the lost opportunity, by the time that my cousin told me that this is the opportunity that she had gotten, Brother Nashi, I then panicked and I started to do those same courses that she was doing. But when I failed to get the same opportunity, instead of me to keep on trying and trying, but my brother, what I did next, it was really evil. I then returned back home. So there was one issue back home between her mother and my mother, because her mother was married to my father's elder brother. When I returned back home, I then started to speak with my mom. It was like a casual conversation, but already there was jealousy in my heart. I felt so much jealousy in my heart. So I spoke with my mom and I said, do you know that Sis Ruth, not her real name, she has found an opportunity and she is supposed to go to England. Very soon she'll be leaving South Africa, going to the United Kingdom. My mother then said that it will never happen. And she said that I swear by my mother's grave that she will never go to England. If she goes to England, then you have to know, my daughter, that you are left without anyone to defend you. I said, what do you mean? The mother then said that the reason as to why I had found such an opportunity in South Africa, it was because of her. It was because of that spirit that used to possess her, the spirit of witchcraft. So my mother said that if she is going to England, then I'm going to retire as a witch. I will know that I am not a witch. So I thought that my mom was joking. Before we had gone to bed, then my mom said that if you hear me calling you tonight, please do not refuse. Know that it is I that is calling you. It is I, your mother, that is calling you. So I am going to come and call you. At what time, I don't even know, because this spirit, it comes to me whenever it wants to come to me. But tonight I know it is going to come to me because I have since summoned it. And my mother said that this spirit, it stays in the mountains, and whenever it wants to possess her, then it will climb down from the mountains. I thought that my mom was losing her marbles. I then went straight to bed. When I went to bed, my brother, just when I had fallen asleep, I had like the most scariest dreams that I had ever had in my life, because it was my mom and some of the women in our village. They were walking with me, but when I checked, I then saw that all of them, their faces, they had the faces of lions, and they were like really scary. So these were the spirits of witchcraft that were possessing them. They walked with me. until we reached this place where there were a lot of graves. My mom then said that all of these graves, she and her friends were the ones that were responsible for all those people that had died and that were in all of those graves. Those graves, Brother Nashi, I think they were like maybe 500 or 600 of those graves. Then as my mom was telling me that she was a witch, then her friends, they started to laugh, like the laughter, it was just intoxicating, and I started to laugh as well. That was when they led me to this other empty grave. When we were at that grave, I then asked, why is this grave empty? Then they laughed and I also laughed, and my mom came to me, but she kept on laughing, and she said that this grave, it belongs to your cousin sister, for your cousin sister is about to die and you are going to help us because we have been looking for her in the spiritual realm for a very long time, but her mother, her prayers were the ones that were stopping us from locating her in the spiritual realm. But as for you, my daughter, as for you, my strong daughter, you have come and you are asking me to bewitch your cousin sister. Is this right? And I then said, yes, it is right. My brother, all of these things, when they were happening, I thought that I was dreaming. But when we were walking back home, that was when I stepped on this other thorny bush and I felt so much pain, so much that I screamed. When I was screaming, I thought that maybe I was going to wake up from that dream, but I kept on screaming, and my mother said that I should not scream anymore, otherwise I was going to wake up some of the dangerous creatures of the night. We then returned back home. My mom and her friends did their rituals and they returned me back into my bedroom, and I saw myself returning back into my body, my soul, as it was returning back into my body. When I woke up, I was very tired, my brother, and even on my right foot where I had stepped on that thorny bush, the pain was just too much. So my mother then told me the next morning that the reason as to why I was tired like that, it was because I was not used like walking for long distance. My mother told me that we had walked for more than 40 kilometers going to the place where they had their graves. Like when we go and when we bury our loved one, this is not the end of the story, because according to my mother, she said that they will remove the remains of our loved one after we would have buried them. Then they go and they bury our loved ones at their own burial. My mom then said that they removed the remains of our loved one and then they will rebury them again so as to control their spirits. My mom, the next day, she confessed to me that indeed everything that I had seen, it was pure witchcraft, for she was a witch and she was going to assist me. And yes, she did assist me. So my mom then said that when it was really hot, like in the afternoon, she wanted me to accompany her. She said that kanazwa rorova nongonya, meaning that when the sun is hitting straight on your forehead, that is when she wanted us to go to the place where she wanted us to go. So when it was in the afternoon, the sun was really hot, and my mom then said, please, my daughter, accompany me. We walked, my brother, until I grew tired. We walked for almost an hour. We climbed up this other hill. When we were on top of that hill, that was when my mom took out this other voodoo doll, and she took out a knife, and she said that I was the one who was supposed to assist her, for she could not locate my cousin's sister in the spirit. And we had a chicken that we had carried. So first she slaughtered that chicken, and after that she said that I was supposed to stab that voodoo doll, and I was actually stabbing my cousin's sister. So that is what we did. When I returned back to South Africa, my cousin's sister, she was in a sorry state. She was coughing and coughing and coughing. When she went to the hospital, they told her that she had TB. My cousin's sister passed away, Brother Nashi, simply because she had found an opportunity. My cousin's sister passed away, Brother Nashi, simply because she had found an opportunity to go to Europe. I know what I did was very wrong, but at that time, I was under the possession of a demon. I know that my mother is the devil herself, and I'll never do anything against her, for I know that she has so much power. And I don't want to hear people saying that, yeah, you are guilty, you must pray. I cannot pray for my mom. The moment that I'll try to pray, she will know that this is what I am doing. I do not want to become a victim. On that same day, when my cousin's sister died at Chris Hani Hospital, I had a dream. And in that dream, it was me, my mother, and her friends. We were carrying my cousin sister's lifeless body. But when we arrived at the place where I had seen that empty grave, she was then woken up and she started crying, and she was like crying. It was really scary. The last thing that you want, Brother Nash, is for you to die and you would have been bewitched, because they wake you up so that they can kill you again. They woke her up, my brother. Then she started crying and she was like, why do you want to kill me? What about my mother? Who is going to take care of my father? Who is going to take care of my children? Oh, my husband, they have finished me. Wake up and pray, wake up and pray. And my mother and her friends, including me, we were all laughing. And then we threw her into that grave. Then her tokoloshes, they were the ones that started burying her alive. That is my own confession. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear sister. That is the translation of that message that she sent to me.